Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Dooobbz here, bringing you guys my 2015 Toronto Maple Leafs season preview with thoughts and predictions. So that was a lot to say, but I want to get this video for a long time. And before we actually get into the video, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsor at HawkPuckTraders.com, a very fast and reliable service, and you guys can use the code Dooobbz for 5% off your Ultimate Team pucks. So you guys can check that down in the description below. Now that's out of the way, let's get to the video, guys. Alright, so the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, the Leafs have done quite a bit in the offseason. You know, I've been really happy with the moves they've made. And I'm going to be going in depth on their signings, their trades, you know, front office, like hirings, you know, firings, all that stuff. Everything they've done to improve the team, I'm going to be covering in this video. So, let's kick back, relax, and let's get started, boys. So first off, let's get off with the signings. So I'll list all the signings. We have signed Daniel Winnick, David Booth. Daniel Winnick played on the Anaheim Ducks. He's a grindy fourth line type of player. He's a good analytics player. If you guys don't know what that means, he has good possession stats, and that's obviously going to help huge with the Leafs. So he's just a really good, you know, run-of-the-mill fourth, maybe even third line player. So he's a really good depth signing there. We also signed David Booth, so he's basically a replacement for Mason Raymond. We let go of Mason Raymond. He went to the Calgary Flames. Not quite sure for how much, but I guess David Booth is replacing Mason Raymond. Obviously not as skilled, but I think he's just got the bigger body. He was pretty good offensively in Vancouver for a couple years, but now he's kind of slowed down with injuries and stuff like that, and we got him for a really good price. I think it was 1 year at 1 mil, 1.2, around that ballpark, but regardless, it was a very cheap and really good depth signing in my opinion. We also signed Leo Komarov for 3 years at $3 million. I love Leo Komarov. I was so happy when I saw this signing, but for the term, it's not horrible, but it's just not good. It's not the greatest signing, but I mean, if they got him cheaper for maybe like 2 years at $3 million, I think that would be a really good signing. But at 3 years, I just don't know. I don't like the three. I don't like the term. The money, I don't like either. I was kind of thinking around the 2 to 2.5 range, but $3 million, you're obviously gonna have to overpay in free agency, and it's understandable. But I love to see Leo Komarov back in a Leafs jersey. That's very good to see. We also signed Mike Santorelli. I think he plays center. He could be your third line center for this year. But many people have him listed as a wing. I think it's the right wing he's listed as. But he can most likely play center if Komarov's playing the wing or something like that. But you got two centermen there that are pretty good. You know, they're run-of-the-mill third line centermen. But it's just good to see that we actually have some proper depth now. So Mike Santorelli, can't say too much about him, but Canucks fans really did enjoy him. And it's good to see. We're just stealing all the Canucks. And for the price we got him for, I think it's just a really good all-around signing. I mean, Dave Notice has been really good with these depth signings, and I'm really glad with it. I mean, it's going to take a huge amount of minutes off our top players, and we'll actually have a fourth line this season. If you guys didn't watch Leafs hockey, or you guys haven't noticed that, or you haven't queued in, we basically didn't have a fourth line last year. We played Cole Tenor, not Jay McClellan, he got like 20 minutes a night sometimes, but like Cole Tenor, Fraser McLaren, and all those guys, they got like little to no ice time. It was like a minute maybe. They're on the ice for like maybe a minute a night. So now that we have an actual fourth line that could probably play up to 8 minutes a night, maybe even more, that's a really good and just good feeling. I mean, we have a fourth line. We can play four line hockey now, so that's really good to see. Next time, guys, we got Petri Contiola. Honestly, I can't say anything about him. I just know he came from the KHL. He's kind of a finesse type player. He's a smaller body, but he can add some offense in the bottom six. So that's good to see. You know, I do like the scoring on the third line. That's why I really liked Mason Raymond last year. But we'll just have to see what Petri Contiola can bring to the table, because I have no idea what he can do. So we'll just have to see for next season. Now, on the back end, we have signed Stefan Robida. I think it was for 3 years, around 3 to 3.35 mil, something around there. But yeah, we signed for 3 years. I believe he's 38 right now. This contract will take him to he's 41. That's my only doubt about this signing. It's just the term. I don't know why you would lock up for 3 years on a 38-year-old, and especially he broke his leg last year too, so he's gonna have some injury problems, right, with his leg. This could be a I don't know what to make of it just yet. I think Stefan Robida is a really good player, and he's exactly the type of player you'd want to play alongside Morgan Rielly and Jake Gardiner. So hopefully he can regain just his playing ability and all of that from the injuries, and hopefully it just turns out, because if it doesn't, it's going to be another bad contract for Jonas. So hopefully it pans out, and hopefully Morgan Rielly and Jake Gardiner can benefit from it a lot. So I'm happy with the signing. I'm happy with the player. Just the term. That's the only problem with this signing, in my opinion. Next, we have I shouldn't say re-signed, because he went to the KHL, but we signed Leo Komarov to a 3-year, $3 million deal. I was so happy when I heard this, because Leo was awesome. He was just the fucking pest that we needed, man, and he's back. So we got some character back, and I'm really glad to see that. But once again, the term, we signed another player for 3 years at $3 million. $3 million is a little too much. You know, I could do 3 years at $2 million, or 2 years at $3 million. But I don't know, this contract, I'm just not a big fan of it. But Leo Komarov is a fine player. If they got him for a little cheaper, or maybe just got him for 2 years, I would have been a lot more happy with the signing. But regardless, I don't care, because Leo is back, baby. Oh my god, I love Leo Komarov. So now it's out of the way, let's get to the trades the Leafs actually made. So we had Carl Gunnarsson going to the St. Louis Blues for with a second-round pick for Roman Polak. Yes, I know, this was... I can't say just yet, but just looking on it on paper, this looks like a really, really bad trade, because Gunnarsson, in every aspect, analytically, he's a better player than Roman Polak. He's... like, in everything, he's a better player. I just don't understand it. This doesn't make sense. It's, once again, the Randy Carlyle factor. He wants more grit on the team. Gunnarsson wasn't known for providing grit. You know, he was more of a skilled defenseman, even though he wasn't that skilled, but he would be known as a skilled defenseman as opposed to like a lockdown, grindy type of defensive defenseman, right? So, and we threw in a second round pick, so I really don't understand that. St. Louis got a hell of a trade there. They're going to really enjoy Gunnarsson, and that second round pick could turn out to be something. You never know. So, I'm really not a big fan of this trade, but let's hope that Polak plays better than Gunnarsson by some miracle, but I highly, highly doubt it. So that trade just it looks a little iffy, but we'll have to see. Next trade, and this is the final trade, we trade Jerry DeMeagle and a conditional 7th round pick to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Matt Fradden. So Matt Fradden's back on the Leafs. I really enjoyed watching him play. He was more of a two-way forward type of player. You know, he had some speed on him, so he's basically kind of like a Mason Raymond, just without as much offense. And I think he's pretty good defensively. He's got the speed, and he's just a good bottom six player. So I'm really glad that they got him, and they could use a lot more speed, the Leafs, especially on their bottom six. So I'm really, really happy to see that Fran's back in a Leaf uniform. Next, let's talk about some buyouts. So we bought out Tim Gleason. Yes, that is right. So the player we traded John Michael Lyles for, we have bought out the next season. Ridiculous, right? I know. Even though Gleason played well, he blocked shots, he was that gritty defenseman that we were looking for. And it doesn't make sense. They could have kept Gunnarsson and Gleason, but I don't know about Polak's contract. It could be cheaper. I highly doubt it, but I'm happy that they got the money off their hands. Like, you know, they bought out Gleason. They're obviously gonna have to pay him a bit, but it makes sense. It makes sense from a financial standpoint. But trading Gunnarsson for Roman Polak doesn't. This is what cancels out the good thing about the buyout. So I don't know what to make of it. Once again, Polak is a huge factor this year, and I can't wait to see how he plays. Hopefully he plays good. Hopefully he bashes some faces in. He plays good defensively, but I just can't see it happening, and that's why the buyout doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, we're just going to have to see how Roman Polak plays. Next, guys, we have some front office signings, and I probably think these are the best signings of the summer for the Maple Leafs. I'm very happy to talk about these. So the first notable one, and probably the biggest signing the Leafs have had just in the past couple years, Kyle Dooobbz coming aboard. A lot of people didn't really think this was a huge move or anything like that, but I think this is a really, really big move, and I'll tell you why. Kyle Dooobbz, I believe, was the assistant general manager for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. He could have been the general manager, but he was either one of the two. He's a very smart man, and he's an analytics type of guy. So if you guys don't know what analytics are, it's just basically numbers, looking at players' shooting percentage, you know, their time on the ice. It's just, I could go on for days about analytics. Corsi, Fenwick, all these types of different stats, shooting percentage, I probably said already, but all these different types of stats get took into account, and that's how they perceive these players, because analytics and numbers, you can see so much more and see what a player's doing, like see what they're doing on ice that you couldn't really tell at all times with the eye test. And if you guys obviously don't know what the eye test is, it's pretty self-explanatory. Lots of general managers just base their signings and all that stuff just by looking how a player plays. Does he play right? Does he hit hard? All that. But analytics brings a new form of thinking, which you can't always see with your eyes, and that's why I'm really happy that they brought Kyle Dubas aboard, because he can bring so many more ideas, and it's just fresh. It's just a fresh signing. He's gonna bring so many ideas to the table, and he's gonna be talking back and forth with Shanahan. Shanahan's gonna be in contact with Carlyle. He's just gonna have a big say eventually. He's 27 years old. I'm pretty sure he's 27. He's in his mid-20s. He's a really, really young guy. So he's not going to obviously have too much say right away, but he's going to work his way up because he's one smart man, and I'm very, very, very happy with this signing, and I can't wait to see what he brings in the future. So very happy with that sign, like I said. Next, guys, we have Claude Loiselle and Dave Poulin gone. So I have a really big feeling this is because of Brandon Shanahan. If Shanahan wasn't here, they'd probably still be here because of Dave Nonis. He would have more say. But Shanahan basically was saying, if you guys don't want to tag along, you guys don't want to stick to my game plan, what I want to do with this team, what I want to do going forward, you can get out of here. We're firing you. So that's good to see. I can't really say too much about Poulin and Loiselle, but if they're not following the plan, like why have them aboard? Get someone that will follow your plan and seek it through. So I'm really happy that Shanahan's not necessarily happy that Loiselle and Poulin gone, but just making a statement. Like, that's what you need, and I'm really happy that Shanahan's taking over, and just really happy in general. Like, I'm just so glad that Shanahan's in our office, man. This guy's a really smart guy. He's been around the league. He knows a lot about hockey, so just really smart moves in the front office for the Leafs. We also fired 3 assistant coaches and hired Steve Spott and Peter Horacek. The assistant coaches, they deal with the penalty kill, the power play. Our penalty kill was god fucking awful last year. Probably near the last in the league. Probably like the second last in the league or something, behind Buffalo. And it was horrible. Our penalty kill was surprisingly good a couple of years ago, but that's because we had depth then, and we have depth now. And it's just good to see that we could probably, get our penalty kill in the top 10 again. It's just ridiculous. It's just nuts how you can change so much. It was just assistant coaches. These little moves the Leafs are doing, they're going to make a huge difference, and people don't realize that. This is why I really, really do like these moves, and I'll tell you why I like the Randy Carlyle signing. I know you guys are going to jump on me for that, but please listen. Do not turn off this video. They signed Randy Carlyle for 2 years, a 2-year extension, and I absolutely flipped the fuck out when I saw that on my phone. I was just going crazy, right? I was in the middle of class, just basically screaming, me and my friends. But the reason why I like this signing is because the Leafs can pull the trigger at any time, and why this makes sense is because Carlisle's going to be back for the next season. A lot of people blamed last season because of Carlyle, but now that he's back again, technically, I don't think he's going to be for that long, but they have the option to pull the trigger whenever they want. So say the Leafs lose like 8 games in a row come the start of the season, they can just pull the trigger. They know it's Carlisle's system that's failing. They're meeting the needs to him. They're giving him a proper fourth line that you can dress a fourth line every night. You can take the minutes off the top players, which is going to be huge. A lot of people don't realize that. If you can have a fourth line that will actually play hockey, because the Leafs last year didn't have a fourth line. They played like a minute a night, and that's not a fourth line at all, right? Sometimes they would dress 7 defensemen instead of the extra fourth liner, right? So it's good to see that they have so many options, because if they met all the needs of Carlyle, they've given him like more defensemen that play his style, or that play his style that he likes, like Roman Polak, Stefan Robida. They're improving the back end to how he plays his or how he coaches his hockey. And if that's not working early enough, goodbye Carlyle. You probably have like a Dan Bylsma right behind, wanting to swoop in. You know, Bylsma still hasn't been signed. He turned down offers from Carolina and Florida, so why not sign with the Leafs? Who knows? An original 6 team, he could turn the team around, and I just love the options that the Leafs have. So Carlyle got us to the playoffs. You know, I'm really happy about that. We almost made the playoffs last year. Why pull the trigger just yet? See that at the start of the season, and if it doesn't work, they can fire him. They're obviously going to have to pay him for 2 years, but they're the Leafs. They can afford it. So just the fact that they have that that power, it's good. It's good for the fans, you know. I don't want to see like if they're losing games like last year, I'm not going to be watching them. It's just stupid. Like, they're obviously going to have to make change, and I'm glad that Shanahan's in the front office and he can pull the trigger whenever he wants to. So this season just basically gives the Leafs a chance to see where they're at and what they should do going forward. You know, like, is this the year where we try to contend? Is this the year where we try to tank for McDavid or something like that? Because they can very well tank for McDavid. That's what a lot of people don't know. They're the Leafs. They can tank for McDavid if they want to. But it's really good because they just they have a complete fourth line. They have so many options behind the bench, and it's just good. It's good to see. Like, obviously, if it's the problem, that they're obviously going to take out the problem. If that problem's Carlyle, so be it. So I'm just happy with the spot they're in, not necessarily what they've done just yet, because no one's proven themselves just yet. Just the spot the Leafs are in, they're in a really, really good spot in my opinion. Some people may debate against that. You can say a lot more things negatively towards this team, but I think they're in a pretty good position, and I'm very, very excited for this upcoming season. So if I had to make a prediction, I think we do make the playoffs if Bernier can maintain that elite level goaltending. I don't think the defense is too much better. The couple X factors I think are Morgan Rielly and Jake Gardiner for sure. They're definitely going to have to perform. They're going to eventually have to break out, especially Gardiner with that new contract. Rielly, not so much. Rielly's really good, and I can't wait to see him for years to come. But Gardiner needs to step it up. He's probably going to be one of the top 2 defensemen this year. He needs to eat those minutes, and he just needs to lock it down defensively, and he's going to be a very fine player, and he's going to increase the back end by a lot. He's going to make it a lot better. So I think those are the X factors going into the season. Nothing too much else. I'm just glad we added the depth. We still obviously need that first line center. I'm fine with Bozak, but he's not that true first line center that you need. And I don't know. I'm just really excited for the next season. I think we make the playoffs, like I said, if Bernier can maintain and not regress. And hope if our defense gets a little bit better, Morgan Rielly and Jake Gardiner can get those can make the next, jump, leap, whatever you want to call it. I think this team could be a playoff contending team. You know, maybe knock down the first round, maybe get to the second round for lucky. Don't want to go there yet, but they're probably gonna have like a first round exit or something like that. They're probably gonna be that type of team for a while, and they're gonna have to pull the trigger soon to get that first line defense or that first line center. So we'll see about that, but I'm going to stop rambling on, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Leaf fans in the comment section below. Do you guys like the signings? Do you disagree with what I said? Do you agree with what I said? Let me know in the comments, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to think. So once again, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys, for more NHL 14 and NHL 15 videos. That's right, guys. Peace.
All this attention got me hype, cut the lights, baby, this ain't only for the night, baby, this is life, this is where I'm taking flight and never touching down, said it, now they know I meant it when I say we run the town.